Let's Talk with Gary Gellman is brought to you by Investor Savings Bank, banking in your best interest. New Jersey Natural Gas, helping customers save money and energy through Conserve to Preserve. C&A Financial Group, wealth management strategies. Avery Educational Resources, college and boarding school consulting. Trinity Financial Sports and Entertainment Management Company, LLC, treating players like people and people like players. And Mountain Development Corporation.
Coming up on this edition of Let's Talk, Charles Fazzino, international artist. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Let's Talk. We have a world-renowned artist here. Charles Fazzino is here to talk about his art and the great things he's done. Charles, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Now, people have seen your work. Let's just pick one of these up. You're a three-dimensional artist. How did you get involved with three-dimensional artwork?
Well, as a kid, I always loved pop-out children's books. And my mother used to buy them. She's Finnish, and she used to buy these Finnish ones and German ones. And it was just just a fun thing for a kid. And I always sort of stuck in the back of my mind that I love these pop-out books. Later on, many years later, was in art school in New York, and I wanted to do something different. I think as an artist, you have to do something that stands out, that's very different, so you stand out from all your other peers. And I really wanted to do something that was 3D, sort of that emulated these pop-out children's books. So just a few years after graduating from School of Visual Arts in New York, I happened upon an arts and crafts class in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, of all places. And together with my work, the whimsical nature of it, of the way I paint, and the 3D process, it's just been magic from day one.
Wow. Now, tell us what the process is to put a piece like this together. Now, our viewers can't get too close to it, but what is required to do? What do you do first?
Well, I guess the first thing I do is I start off with an original painting. And the painting is usually larger than the edition that I produce in size. Sometimes I work on paper. Sometimes I work on canvas. Sometimes it starts off as just a pencil drawing and then becomes a colored pencil drawing, which is then submitted for printing to a fine art printer. And I use a company who I'm affiliated with in Brooklyn, and they do all my fine art printing. So it starts off as a painting.
So
gets hand separated.
You make a painting all by hand.
Correct.
In your studios in New York.
Yes.
Then you have it printed.
I have them hand printed, and it's the old-fashioned way. You know, like you pull color by color of an old printing press, color by color, blended the colors, which is different than the printing process that people use today, which is just a photograph.
Right.
And make it.
And now, why is it done that way? Is it not? I'm sure it would be cheaper the other way.
Well, when you look at my artwork, you'll notice the difference. You know, 3D is something that a lot of people do and have copied me through the years, but this is a hand-pulled process. They're printed on museum-quality paper. It's museum quality. They are hand-printed on acid-free paper. That's why when you look at my work, it looks so different from other people's who do, you know, hobby-type 3D decoupage, because the colors are so vibrant. The colors are so vibrant because they're hand printed inks, and it's a hand process.
Interesting. So, with this, what's the name of this?
This piece is a new piece called Now Playing on Broadway. It has all the newest shows on Broadway, like Wicked and well, Young Frankenstein is already, I think, gone, but a lot of the Mary Poppins is in this piece.
So what do? You research, you get a topic to create a piece on, and then you do the research?
Yeah, many years ago when I first started painting in New York City, I went to School of Visual Arts. I started showing my artwork in the Washington Square Outdoor Art Show in the city. And my subject matter was places that I ate, like the Jewish delis down in the Lower East Side, or I ended up doing a lot of Broadway pieces because I like going to Broadway, and it was just a fun thing, and I love theater. So I started painting things that were endearing to me. So Broadway still today, and my Jewish delis tend to be some of the favorite pieces that are really known worldwide.
Interesting. So now the viewers probably can't see this, but if I were to touch this, what will happen? Or should I?
Actually, yeah, you can. They're quite resilient. We ship them out to countries all over the world.
So that's like, what did you say? That's like some.
It's actually printed on a very, very thick museum board, and then the cutout sheets are printed on a thinner museum paper.
We're going to take a break. We come back. I want to talk about who commissions you to do this type of work. I know you've done work all over the place. Who commissions you? And we'll do that when we come back. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back right after this.
Some say all banks are the same.
We disagree.
We separate ourselves by not just providing high-quality products,
but standing behind them with world-class service.
Not by just lending money to businesses,
but supporting that business.
Not just being in the community,
but by taking an active part in our community.
We are your bank.
Investor Savings Bank.
Bank with investors and experience the difference.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. We have Charles Fazzino here, international artist, and we talked earlier about his 3D art. Now I want to know who hires him and commissions him to create this art. I also have a few other items here I want to talk about, but who's your clientele?
My clientele tends to be Wall Street, your lawyer, your family doctor, real estate people. It's everybody. I really appeal to a large spectrum of people. In the early days, I was primarily collected by retired people because I was doing scenes of the Lower East Side and Broadway, and it was sort of reminiscent of things that they remember. So I had a large older audience. Today I have a very mixed audience of young professionals and just anybody who, it's funny, after 30 years people still say how cool it is, and I try to stay on top of that and, you know, make them still exciting.
Right. We have a Super Bowl helmet here. Tell me about this and how did you work this out?
Well, this was sort of a culmination of years of work. I first started working with Hanna-Barbera in New York and Disney, and the NFL saw what I was doing with their characters, and I talked to also Major League Baseball. They love my artwork, and I license from the NFL and from Major League Baseball their marks to use in my artwork. And it's been from day one, which is now, boy, 15, 18 years I've been working with both of them, that they love the artwork. They invited me to create artwork 11 years ago for Super Bowl. So for the past 10 Super Bowls, I've been doing all the commemorative artwork for the NFL. This is what we do at the different Super Bowl host cities. I'll make helmets of my artwork. They're all hand-painted, done the same way that my prints are, just so that they are hand-painted rather than hand-printed.